So there's a new player in the bass boat market, new in 2023. But the question is, do we really even need a new bass boat player? Jacob Wheeler recently announced back in mid-December on his YouTube channel that
I'm building my own bass boat.
As we dig into this, what we find out is he's really working with a new boat brand called Ikon Boats, Ikon. And they're a subsidiary of a former bass boat brand that we've all heard about from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. So his inaugural video, there was a super quick teaser, a few flash shots, didn't really get a great look at the new boat, but he did give away some sneak peeks. Today, I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can while we wait for the official release in late March at the Bassmasters Classic. Kind of funny that they're not releasing it at Redcrest, but they're releasing it at the Bassmaster Classic. So I'm going to try to run through things like who's making it, how much is it going to cost, what models, what's going to be new and different about it, why do we need another bass boat, and a few other things, and looking to see if we can dig through some of the footage online and see what we can parse apart about this new bass boat. Take a quick glance at their IG page. You look at their website, you're really not going to learn much there. Just a couple links and a couple redirects and a couple email submissions, not much really going on. There are, though, some nuggets in some of the YouTube videos on both the Ikon YouTube channel and Jacob Wheeler's channel that we can dig into. What we can easily tell is Ikon Boats is a subsidiary of HCB Yachts. HCB Yachts comes from the founders of Hydrosports spinoff back in the day. So HCB Yachts, they are rooted in Hydrosports heritage. Basically, HCB Yachts is what they proclaim as the world's largest luxury yachts and fishing boats. So coming out of that, one can only imagine this is going to be a high-end bass boat. I don't think there's any reason to believe this is going to be your budget-friendly, everyman, going to sell to the masses and sell a ton of these boats. As far as price goes, if it's decently to fully loaded, I absolutely expect this thing to be creeping in, if not exceeding $100,000 fully loaded, but that's just an assumption at this point. As far as Hydrosports and its roots, the company was a popular bass boat back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. In fact, Earl Bentz was a part of Hydrosports from the late 70s to early 80s, before it all became part of that OMC conglomeration. If you go back in time, there was definitely some mixed reviews. There's some people that love Hydrosports, some people that kind of knocked them, and it was kind of all over the board. But in the time, they were actually a pretty good bass boat during that era. As you can see from the old Hydrosports of the late 90s, they don't really keep up with the modern bass boat layouts, designs, hulls. So I think there's very little that we can expect other than some of the heritage, maybe some of the executives. Some of that may be the same, but I expect this to really truly be a new boat. Like, I don't think they're using any of the old hulls or molds or any of that kind of stuff. So I do really think this is a new boat. And, yes, they're linked to Hydrosports, but just because you loved or hated a Hydrosport back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I don't think that makes any difference on your opinion of an Ikon boat in the 2023. Under OMC Boat Division, Hydrosports ceased production right around 1998 and stopped making any new models after that. That boat division became HCB and went into yacht making. So they moved the plant down to Florida, started getting into the yacht game, and never really heard of the bass boat Hydrosport since then. So after a 25-year hiatus from bass boats, HCB back with the Ikon brand and Jacob Wheeler to bring you Ikon Boats, which is supposedly going to be the best new bass boat out there. I'm sure you, like me, and most of us are wondering what is going to make this boat so special? Why do we need another bass boat brand? How is this going to be better than Phoenix, Camus, Triton, Skeeter, etc., etc.? On one little nugget on one of the videos on the Ikon channel, I did see that they are coming out with an LX20 and an LX21 edition right away. So that's pretty typical for the major bass boat brands to have a 20 and a 21-foot option. But at this point, it doesn't look like there's going to be any 18, 19 kind of starter size boats initially. From all the sneak peeks, there's a couple things that definitely stand out. There's definitely a unique shape and kind of a gusset or a girdle, or I don't know what you want to call it, kind of a wishbone in the top cap when you look at that down view, which makes it a very distinct, unique look from the top. Not sure what that does from a design or functionality, but it's something that definitely pops out and interesting. The seats, actually, they almost look like some kind of like modified gamer chair, which is a little bit different than you see in most of the kind of plush, cushy seat market or bass boats seats that you see today. A lot of the compartments have some unique edges and angles, which isn't all that crazy different than what you see in bass cats. They have a lot of unique shapes versus just simple geometry. There's a lot going on, and I'm sure there's some reason behind that madness in some of their unique compartments. Overall, the appearance doesn't seem to be a big departure from what you see in modern Triton or Camus or some of the other big brands out there. Jacob Wheeler, in one of his teaser clips, did allude there would be some unique things from HEB.
There's so many different things that I didn't even realize you can put on a boat, and there might be some crossover that you've never seen before in a bass.
As far as performance capabilities, we see in the Ikon boat, we see little teaser clips. There's really not much to know until, the average Joe consumer gets out and we get some feedback on how this thing gets on plane, how it goes through waves, how it maneuvers. That's all going to be really a mystery until we see it in more real life situations. It sounds like the first public tournament that this is going to be in will be Jacob Wheeler fishing the MLF Invitational on Lake Okeechobee, February 8th through the 10th. So we will see it in action there. People will obviously, be several hundred boats in that event. We'll have co-anglers, boaters. There'll be glimpses of it. And then obviously Wheeler's videos will come out from that tournament before the Bassmaster Classic. So that'll give us some good indications and maybe a little bit more about what this boat's really about. Pricing and availability, like I said, nothing's been released. But like I said, there's nothing that leads me to believe this is going to be a bargain boat. So I definitely think we're talking, 100 grand north of that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a $150,000 bass boat. The first of its kind. I mean, our boat is coming from the heritage of luxury yachts. So I don't think they're going in, bargain basement, no frills. I expect this to be a fully loaded to the gilt, like Vexus, Ranger, north of that wouldn't surprise me. So why do we need another new bass boat? Why Ikon? Why now? Here's what Jacob Wheeler kind of had to say.
You're never going to reinvent the wheel, but you can bring things to a product that is completely different and amplifies and adds more value to what we need as a fisherman. So that is sort of the goal behind the brand.
I assume we're going to get a few more nuggets and glimpses of the Ikon boat as videos come out, as Wheeler does more fishing videos and tournament videos and things like that. We're going to get to learn a little bit more about it. But the full release will definitely be at the Bassmaster Classic. They'll fully roll out. I'm sure there's going to be big press releases. We're going to learn about dealers and pricing and a lot more things. But until then, I have found some additional footage that I think will be find interesting. We kind of dissect a little further what else we can learn about this new boat. I can only assume what we're seeing in Jacob Wheeler's videos is a 21-footer. What you can see here is a very spacious, typical deck that you see in most 21-foot bass boats. It looks like a great fishing platform. The unwrapped model of Jacob boat looks very flat, kind of gray. I don't see any gunmetal, kind of similar to what we're seeing with Vexus doing. So I don't know if that's just because this is the first run boat or because he was going to wrap it. He didn't put much into the colors, or if this is kind of an indicator that we're going to see them go to that more flat color versus the metal flake. Guess we'll see as they roll out more models, and I'm sure there'll be a handful of them at the Bassmaster Classic. Cockpit seems pretty standard, nothing really crazy here. Plenty of room for two graphs on some kind of a bass boat mount type situation there. The cockpit, there's a little video screen, touch screen that looks like on the right side, which we do see that. I think there's some upgrades definitely for Camus to have that. Vexus probably has something like that. I'm not sure about other models. Up front, nothing jumps out at me. Definitely space for the three graphs up there. Rod straps on each side. There's some buttons, unique shape, but nothing really crazy up on the bow that I can tell. Back in the cockpit area, nice little shelf to pilot baits. I like that in my Camus, similar to other boats. You can see some of the compartments. Big deep center, slam latch compartment, almost like a glove compartment between the seats. And then you can also see here that there's that definitely synthetic turf, surf turf, synthetic foam type decking down in the bottom cockpit area, which has become very popular in most boats to get the carpet out of the bottom of the boats. Here's a good angle of kind of the full, back corner yellow textile view of the boat. Back compartments look pretty standard. Here you can see one of Jacob's fish catches in a recent video, one of the two fish catches he had that day.
I don't know if he's a keeper. He's got to be 14 inches. That's awesome. Woo! Last second, baby. I think it's 14 inches.
You can see there's a pretty big cooler. So overall, nothing super crazy jumps out at me. I'm kind of interested to see when we really get all the details, what's going to set this apart and really bring this and be the, the game changer that I'm sure that they're going to say that it is. If you're a fan of bass boat videos, make sure you check out my year-end review of the Caymas CX20 coming up on the screen right here.